Whispers in the window are angry waves. Way ho the sea of souls. Down to the mists as the ocean slaves. Way ho the sea of souls. Way ho the sea of souls. Way ho the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Now drop the anchor and grab some grog. Way ho, the sea of souls. We'll make a new entry in the captain's log. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hey ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Oh, way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Sea of souls. Whispers in the window are angry waves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Down to the mists as the ocean slaves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Now drop the anchor and grab some grog. Way ho, the sea of souls. We'll make a new entry in the captain's log. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hey ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Oh, way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Sea of souls.
One.
Ahoy, every nerds. I thought I'd change it up this week. Every people's. It's getting to be a little bit old, so I'll let every nerds work a little bit better. So welcome. If you're watching this, then you got to be a little bit nerdy, but that's a good thing.
Yep.
Because being a nerd is cool now, which is possibly an oxymoron, but that's okay.
Geek is
Anyways,
chic.
Geek
that's
chic.
right. Welcome to the Sea of Souls, our homebrewed Dungeons and Dragons campaign, which takes place in the crazy, chaotic world of Eudora and the Broken Isles, where the Sea of Souls resides, which is why we've called the campaign the Sea of Souls. Well, I've called the campaign the Sea of Souls, I suppose. Anyways, we are, as always, the Elder Brain. I am your DM, Craig, aka Pundy. And with us, we have Mike playing Dinar, the Dragonborn War Wizard. And we have Ian playing Flick, the Goblin Eldritch Knight. Dun, dun, dun. But you never heard those
Fantastic
three words
combination.
go together before. Goblin Eldritch Knight, who uses a whip. Oh, it just gets crazier. Devin is Talon, the human druid. That's right. I said Bruid. Bar Druid.
Well, the brew part is true.
I think that's why I thought it was fitting. He's a Bruid. And of course, we have Jack as Torque, the Turtle Storm Herald.
Well, actually, it's a little complicated right now.
That is true. Yes. Yeah. Tonight, he'll be playing the part of Anfel, but also as Torque. Two people in one body. You know how it goes. D&D. Things happen. Possessions. All that crazy fun stuff. So, anyways, thank you for joining us. If you haven't already, please check out our Linktree or link.e/elderbrain. You can find that link above, and that will lead you to all of our socials. Please do follow and tell people to come and hang out with us and enjoy our shenanigans and tomfoolery. I wonder how Tom feels about his name being used for tomfoolery.
Well, it's named after him for a reason.
I mean, it is true.
Can't be as bad as poor Will, who keeps getting shot at every time someone screams to fire at Will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Wilhelm, right? Like, how many times is Wilhelm going to scream in every single movie ever? Jeez.
I pointed out the Wilhelm scream to my son a few months back, and now I point it out every time we hear one.
Do you think he still collects residuals for that?
I would hope so. There's got to be royalties on that, right? Like, every time the Wilhelm scream is used.
I think they use it
Wilhelm is just like ding, like ooh, hey.
I think they use it specifically because it's a stock noise, but
it is, and it's so you can hear it. I gotta find that. We gotta find the Wilhelm scream and just throw it in to soundtrack, and you guys throw somebody overboard. Ah! If you don't know what we're talking about, you probably actually do. You just don't know that it's called the Wilhelm scream, but I guarantee that you've heard it, because if you've ever watched a movie. I'm just a movie. If you've watched a movie,
especially a Lucasfilm movie,
I was going to say,
you probably heard the Wilhelm scream.
Isn't that Boba Fett being thrown into the pit? Isn't that one of the?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's true. You never hear Boba Fett make any other noises really, and then yeah. So that tells you how long it's been around as well, and it's still being used.
I say Wilhelm ain't collecting any royalties on that anymore. It's his family. It's his relatives.
Yeah, possibly. That's true.
His grandchildren.
Anyways, so tangent over, which we are possibly known for now as well. Guys, we're all geeks, and we geek out on things like that because yay, it's fun. So, catching us up to speed. On our last episode, our four companions found themselves needing to escape the strange dungeon complex that Connor Boone had placed them in. Connor now dead, along with Fennec, the strange necromancer, having left, and Torque being possessed by Anfel Boone, one of the founders of Connor Boone. Not intentionally, more of a sort of happenstance. Accidentally, you could say. Accidentally. I was leading up to the pun, Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Come on, man.
I'm sorry.
I got
cutting your grass.
So you are. Stay in your lane. Anyway, so managing to escape the dungeon, they found themselves thrown into the fray of Boone versus Boone in the manor above. And it seems that Ship Boone had been split into two divisions: those who were loyal to Aldous Boone, the current high captain, and those who were part of Kuna's coup. Ooh, alliteration. I love when that works. And whatever was going on with them and their nefarious deeds. Unfortunately, Aldous succumbed to his wounds in the fight, but their good friend Connor Boone, former captain, or perhaps still current captain, depending on circumstances, had regained his mental faculties and was able to assist them in figuring out some of what was going on. With all the chaos happening and not sure who to trust, it was decided that they would head to the Undership, the ancient wreck that Anfel first sailed to Porto de Arias from Gungra many centuries ago. It was decided that it would be used as a hiding place for now to figure out what to do next. With dark entities at work, apparently the same one that is currently infesting the Sea of Souls behind what's happening in Ship Boone. It now falls upon our four adventurers to decide what to do next. Gentlemen, we pick up where we left off at the manor of Aldous Boone, inside the compound of Ship Boone, as you prepare to make your escape into the night. If there's anything you'd like to prepare before we head into the streets, any fond farewells to the manor? I don't know. Kaylin probably needs a drink.
I mean, I think we left off with me literally Scrooge McDucking in gold while drinking.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Stuff my pockets with as much gold as
Just
I'm allowed to take.
literally as much as we could carry.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we know the guy in charge. It's fine. We're buds.
He said we could do this.
fine, we can swim the gold. Yes, there was a significant amount of loot, but essentially under the control of Connor now, as it has sort of been left to him to oversee what is left of Ship Boone, or what loyal remnant will remain once the air clears. As you're pondering what to do next, Connor kind of draws you all together. All right, lads. I don't really know what we're going to find waiting for us out beyond the gates there. I have to imagine that the reaches of Kuna and her kind weren't restrained only to our manor here.
Well,
So
I mean,
think it's best that we make our way as stealthily as possible.
they've already failed. What else could they possibly want to gain?
Have they, though?
I suppose that depends on what their goal was.
I mean, you said you saw Fennec. Well, Anfel's brother was there, so I mean, if he's alive.
Allegedly.
Hi. I can verify he was there. Took off in a bit of a hurry, though. I think he was a bit scared to see me. Coward.
Considering the fact that you were down there, I feel like you shouldn't have been.
Not locked up in a cage, perhaps.
Or an axe.
The thing is that Ship Boone is decimated right now.
The ironic thing is that if they had just paid us and let us leave, they would have succeeded.
Well, maybe they could have paid you off.
Oh, well.
You know what I mean. We didn't
That's
even know
my-
any of this was going to happen until they imprisoned us and they made it
That's
personal.
Good point, yeah.
That's my brother for you. He was always a light bit short-sighted.
Well, if you live this long, you can't be that short-sighted.
I resemble that
Not
remark, lad.
necessarily. I mean, living long doesn't automatically give you wisdom and foresight into, I mean, who knows? Maybe he's got lucky. Maybe he's just had
Maybe.
things go his way. But
Well, let's hope that the sheer dumb luck that guides our path is stronger than his.
indeed.
And on that happy note, we got to get moving, right?
We were going to visit our old mage friend and see if he can do something about the split personality disorder.
Yeah, we got to sort
Right.
out marbles and got to stash the loot. What's our order of operations here? Is there enough loyalists to get the loot to the Batcave, or do we need to be escort detail first?
I think I know of a few doors we can count on, aside from the few that are still standing here. I'm sure there's fighting going on elsewhere in our compound. Again, I can't imagine that it's limited only to the manor house here, probably up in the barracks and elsewhere. There's quite a bit of conflict going on. There is a back door, back way. Be foolish not to have multiple entries and exits in a pirate port of all things. So we do have a back way out of here. But I'm going to tell you now, you're going to get wet. I know for some of you that ain't that big a deal, but
I don't think we care.
Yeah.
right.
We do have
Better wet than dead.
We do have the ability to scout it out. Talon
We,
can send Willie.
We spent 2 sessions in an underwater ruin. I think we'll be fine.
That's right.
Yeah. I'll have to ask you some more about that.
I'd be happy to tell you about it. Massive city
right now,
ruin, about 20,000 blocks.
Talon, when there's time.
I blew up a door wall.
Okay, that sounds cool, but just
Torque killed
Yes,
the statue.
I would actually like to hear this story as well, but another time.
when there's time. Okay, when we're at the Undership and we've got some cover and can rest a little bit. Time for some storytelling. Okay.
So do we see Jorn first, or do we need to head straight to the Undership?
I think we need to get set up at the Undership. And
Hey, Dinar, do you have a way to, mojo connection to the old chap? Or do we have to physically see him like some kind of peasant?
I would need to be within 150 feet of him. I don't have the ability to send messages farther than that just yet.
Well then, we better start walking then, eh?
Very well. I guess we'll go check out the back door. Unless we want to, see what waits in the front.
It's less a door and more of a hole.
Yeah. I had a feeling.
I think
Well, let's get this over with.
We
Don't worry. I think I remember this exit from the old days. It's not as bad as it sounds. Then again, it has been, what was it, 300 years?
Let's just quickly grab a refill of alcohol from the basement, and then we'll be on our way.
We're not going back down to the basement.
Yes, that's a waste of time.
But casks.
Yeah. Well, you can't. It's sort of a weird magical thing she had going on there. So where you were wasn't actually the basement, the cellar of the manor. It is, but it isn't. I don't know. It's just strange. Didn't you notice that when you came back? You said you came out through a pocket under a statue or something, and you just kind of appeared in a stairwell. They didn't give you some sort of indication that something weird was going on there.
Well, the main thing was that the way in seemed pretty flush with the building, but I suppose what you say makes sense. Right. Port, ale, whiskey, something for the road.
This is a dwarven compound. We've got lots of alcohol, always.
Great. Take 6 of your best drinks, mix it all up into a jug, and bring it here.
No.
How long?
How about we get going to that? How about we get going to the Undership then? We'll get a drink when we get there. I promise.
Hey, can we put gold in your shell?
I don't really think so. I've been experimenting. I think it's just all flesh in there.
Okay.
I don't think I can take it off. I thought that maybe if I did, I'd just be wearing some boxer shorts with hearts on them underneath, but it seems as though it's actually connected to my skeleton in this body.
Flick, how much of that are you taking?
How much of which? 2 armfuls of.
I'm picturing Torque like inside his head just being like,
Yeah. He's just like, my goddess told me to do this.
So as you're kind of, going back and forth a little bit, Connor moves up to the throne, so to speak, where Aldous is currently kind of sitting on. And with the help of a couple of the dwarves that were kind of nearby, the loyalists, very gently removes the body of Aldous off and kind of does some preparations just to wrap it up, close the eyes, that kind of thing, preparing to bring it with as it were, so that Alice can be given a proper send off. And as he clears the throne, you see him reach underneath the cushion, and you hear him kind of like fiddling around for a second, and there's like a couple more clicks, some stone on stone grounding sounds, like a creak of metal. It's very elaborate. There's like a whole bunch of sounds going on, and then finally he's like, oh, there we go. And he steps back. He watches the throne, just kind of goes and moves off to the side.
Secret tunnel,
revealing
Not
what you would expect with such an elaborate device to open it. It is pretty much just a hole, very deep. Looks like it goes down probably at least 40 feet, and you can see water below, just sloshing.
I know the whole part I remember, but that old thing with the throne. That's
sorry,
new.
if the hole's been there since you were in charge, why hasn't anyone decided to put some masonry in there, make it a little more comfortable?
It's been done a few times, but it just sort of, there's a lot of sand around here.
Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it is my motto anyway.
There's also a volcano that for many years was active, and seismic activity. A lot of things changed over the years. So my predecessors decided to just kind of, leave the hole as a hole. Why build something that's just going to fall apart again, cover it as best we can. And then, the water's still there. It ain't going anywhere for now.
Talon, it's an escape hatch, not a spa.
I'm going to be honest. I wasn't expecting such a sensible answer.
No time like the present then, lads? Let's get a move on, eh?
Hey, before we Geronimo down there, D, you got any of that water breathing magic?
Yeah, give me a minute and I'll give it to everybody.
Oh, good thinking.
No, I can't.
Well,
oh, wait. Ritual spells I can cast without spell slots.
Correct.
Give me a minute.
Door's gonna lean over. Hey, how long can this one hold his breath for?
I ain't never seen him have to go up, so...
As far as I know...
I'm just a bit worried on account of the weight. I'm worried I might sink like a rock.
As far as I know, Torque can just breathe water.
Yeah, I think Torque might have actually preferred to sink to the bottom.
And
so,
really? He's a snapping turtle, so, water's kind of his thing. Plus, this goddess is the goddess of the sea that he's, beholden to, and he kind of had... I think he'll be fine. Yeah.
Well, in that case, I think I might be in my element. All right, see you lads at the bottom then.
Literally.
As he just jumps in.
Awesome. You watch as Torque Anfel just drops down this hole. And it is, again, it's just like a hole. You can kind of see a couple different layers of like where there's a little bit of rock, sand, like kind of a layer of more of like a thicker kind of natural sandstone, and then it kind of opens up a little bit, and as you hit the bottom, hit the water, you kind of splash down. You drop down probably about a good 15 or 20 feet or so, and you realize that it's not like right out to the ocean. You've kind of dropped into almost like a cistern, like a big open cavity that's just filled with water, but the rest of the tunnel is actually closer up to the surface of the water. So you kind of come back up, and you can see now, heading in a roughly south direction, that there's just an open sea cave, almost like it looks like there was an underground river or something at point. And you can see where there has been some masonry and stuff that's kind of blocked off part of the water to make it so they can kind of control the flow down here, but it's very, very crude but effective. None of it looks familiar to you. This has all been done.
If Boone
they've got some work done.
Knew about that, isn't there a good chance that Kuna knew about it and Marbles' brother also? So wouldn't we expect it to be watched?
Wait, I'm not here.
The thing is, all this only entrusted a handful of people with the secret. I actually found it accidentally when he was telling my father about it many years ago. Kuna didn't know about it. Fennec, this is long. I don't think he would have known about it either.
Kind of a pragmatic question here. Is there a way to close this thing from the bottom?
Yes.
Oh, okay, because otherwise a lot of people are going to be finding out about 10 minutes.
No. I'll go last and make sure that I take care of that. Don't you worry.
All right, Skipper.
All right, then.
He kind of points to the other handful of guards that were kind of around, the ones that had kind of been sort of the last stand with you guys in there. And you hear him giving some instructions as to basically waiting until kind of the coast is clear, and then using what he calls the foundry entrance. He doesn't explain that, but he used the foundry entrance to get the treasure out. And then as you guys all kind of prepare to go, he's like, all right. Well, after you. I'll explain when we get down there where to go. That's pretty straightforward, but let's just get out of here, shall we?
Light us up, D.
All right, I'll have to ritual cast it, but cast water breathing.
You've had time to do that now.
Yep.
It's been 10 minutes.
Yep.
All right, let's hope I don't get my powder wet.
Dinar will jump in first.
Okay. So, as one who does not have a swim speed and is not a turtle, it is a 40-foot drop. I need you to make an athletics check for me, please.
Piece of cake.
See,
I'm actually trained in athletics, so
this is why I didn't cast Water Walk.
We don't splattering on the surface of the water. All right, athletics check. That was almost 5. It's an 18 instead. 18 plus 3, 21.
Okay. You've jumped off your fair share of the high ships and masts, and it was kind of a fun game in the Royal Navy to climb up the main mast and kind of dare each other to jump off different heights from like high ships and stuff. So you've done your fair share of high dives, and you kind of plummet in and kind of turn halfway through and just break the water with a nice crisp, clean entry. Probably, get like 8 or 9 out of 10, from scorecards going up. And again, you kind of break through and you go down for about 15, 20 feet or so, and you manage to kind of come back up, and you can see now where Anfel in Torque's body is just kind of hanging out in the water. And you can see to the south that there is a passageway mostly filled with water. There's a little bit of like a pocket of air above it, about a foot's worth of clearance between the water and the top of that.
I wasn't expecting this body to be so agile in the water, but this Torque fellow, he's quite hydrodynamic.
Hey, Anfel. 300 years ago.
Yeah.
There were turtles, right?
Oh, probably.
Okay.
Never knew any personally, though.
Fair. Just need to check. All right. Dinar's going to look up back towards the hole. Come on down, guys. Water's cold.
Well, I've never been one to not go to the local watering hole. Rolling down to old Maui.
Athletic check, please.
Yes.
I don't think I've heard that one before.
Sometimes I think he makes them up on the spot.
Ouch.
He's not bad.
Ooh.
That's not a 21.
I only heard it. What? Ooh. 5.
That's a 5. It's a 5. So, not quite graceful. And
Only
if anybody
wild shape,
anybody who's ever gone, cliff jumping or falling into water from
yes, we've all done that.
You understand that water water is not soft necessarily if you hit it the wrong way from a height.
I mean, I've done a belly flop, so
So, thankfully, I just rolled 1s on my damage.
Hey.
Except that one. You take seven points of fall damage, of bludgeoning damage from the fall, as you hit the water pretty awkwardly, and it's more kind of like a like kind of end over end, just like you try to like get into a cannonball as you hit the water.
The solid hit and then a slow sink.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Because thankfully the water breathing saves you from that like brief like blackout as you hit the water and you go under and you're kind of like, oh.
Is there any way that I could repel or slow my fall, or sort of like try and lessen the fall distance before I have to make the athletics check? Like do some acrobatic maneuvers is what I'm hoping for. To
use your whip like Spider-Man.
Give me an investigation check.
Investigation. All right. Solid 5 on that.
Okay. You don't really see anywhere that you could kind of grab onto or use as a way to kind of like shimmy down at all. You're like, if I hang, maybe that'll, with my whip, maybe that'll like lessen it by like 5 or 10 feet.
Any little bit will help with my garbage athletics. So that's
okay. Okay. So you're looking at about a 30-foot drop instead of the 40-foot drop.
Perfect. And drum roll, please, for my +0 athletics. 11.
11. Perfect. Not too bad. A little bit awkward. Yours is more kind of like a whoa.
Yes, I unhooked the whip and then realized, oh, wait a minute, I'm falling butt first now. This ain't good.
Yeah. So you take 4 points of fall damage as you kind of hit awkwardly. It's more of that sting where you're just like, you can have a red mark there. But otherwise, you're not too bad. There is kind of like a little bit of an ambient light in here, and you can see now that there's some glowworms and stuff that are kind of just crawling across parts of the surface. And as you look up, you see as Connor kind of like reaches underneath, and just kind of where the lip is, you see that he actually kind of reaches up and puts his hands in what looks like a couple holes, and you just see him kind of hanging there for a second. And then he kind of reaches over, seemingly into kind of a hidden pocket in the stone. You hear kind of like a grinding sound. And then the hole starts to close above him as the stone kind of moves back into place. And you hear him go, "Cannonball!" And he drops. And we'll make a athletics check for him. That's a 19. Because it's the captain.
Of course.
And you're thinking like, okay, a 40-foot cannonball, like we're all gonna like get some serious waves going here. And about like 10 feet above the water, he just goes like perfect pencil dive and hits the water like without breaking the surface, without like splashing as he breaks the surface, and kind of does one of those like feet first like twist things like underwater, and then comes back up and it's just like
excellent.
Been a while since I'm doing that. Hey, I'm a captain after all. You gotta be able to swim, right? I mean,
I cast shape water to make the water go up in the form of a card with a 10 on it.
I was gonna say I throw prestidigitation there to get a couple sparks and maybe the sound of cheering.
So this week,
is it dark down here?
No, I just mentioned that there's like some glowworms and stuff that are giving.
Yeah, but is it like low light though, or is it?
Yeah, it's like dim light.
Okay.
Yeah. So this week on D&D, diving competition.
Glad you tuned in, everybody.
Down a hidden hole underneath the dwarven throne. I mean,
Yep.
Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. Okay. So you're in this little cave of water, and the passage ahead of you, heading more or less in a southerly direction. It's got about a foot of water above it. And Connor, that's hard to say quickly. Connor points in that direction. He says, "No, that's actually going to bring us out eventually, kind of around the docks area, just kind of below one of the piers. There's a little bit of a kind of false wall that we can move out of the way that'll pop us out. And from there, we're going to have to make our way to the Undership."
Hey, sounds grand.
So, I'll take the lead. Follow me. Pretty straight shot. Hopefully none of it's collapsed. I mean, we haven't
sounds
really
great.
had
After you, Captain.
chance to use it, so we're just kind of hoping here that all is well. So, hey, Dinar,
Yeah,
you want to give us a little bit of light?
Yeah, sure. Dinar will light up all of his scales.
Appreciate that. Kaiju spine. The atomic scales. I want to make that canon. Like, I'm serious. Like, so the light goes on. It's got to happen.
So commission the art.
When Dinar hits level 20, that's when he goes full atomic breath. Kaiju.
I mean, I'd be a fool to say no to that. So sure.
We create a new class or a new race altogether. Kaiju.
It's like Super Saiyan Dragonborn, basically.
Yeah, basically. Super Saiyan
Dragonborn Z.
Dragonborn Z, yes.
Dragonborn Z.
All right. So we follow Boone.
Oh man, we're on top form tonight.
Yeah.
Well done. Yes, you follow Captain Connor Boone as he leads you through. You get about 100 yards in, and unfortunately, it looks like there has been a little bit of collapsing in this tunnel. The passage is not completely blocked, but it is narrowed. And he kind of stops, and head just kind of above water. There's about that foot here. And beyond, you can see where it actually kind of, the pocket kind of disappears. Not that it matters because you'll have water breathing right now. But it's going to be completely underwater at this point.
I will have been testing the acoustics of this cavern the entire time.
Hey. Oh. It's actually probably more of like that. You know, when you speak and it's like the sound is like muffled. It's like, hey. It just doesn't really go anywhere.
Oh yeah. That's less good.
A weird effect to it, yeah. Yeah, because there's less air, right? So it doesn't travel.
Oh yeah.
Far. Yeah. Acoustic sound in the air. Anyway, Connor kind of points at the bit of a collapse and where some of the rocks have kind of, looks like one side of the wall is kind of pushed out a little bit and settled. Now, I think most of us will be fine getting through there. Dinar and I was about to say Torque, Anfel. I'm not sure.
Anfel.
It's still strange. I don't know if you could fit through that, so we might have to, I don't know, move some of those rocks or see if we can squeeze. When we'll do that, and not lad, but great grand captain.
Don't worry about it. No need to be so formal. I slap him on the back. Just Anfel is fine.
Remember how strong you were. Oh.
Aye. If you're a Boone, you can take it.
Yeah, but
is there a spot in this narrow opening preferably on the top part where it looks maybe a little bit thinner than the rest?
Give me an investigation check.
I have 2 spell slots left that I could use for magic missile.
I mean, I got
force damage our way.
I got more spell slots than you, so if we need a spell, I mean, I've got some stuff we can do.
Would you say investigation?
I did.
I have a big axe.
Investigation's not bad, but that's
that useful.
4 plus 4, 8.
8. You're not really sure what to look for. Cave-ins and things aren't really your forte, and so you're kind of like, you don't really know where to blast or what's what here. You kind of almost like an overwhelming where you're just kind of like,
got an idea. It slipped my brain.
What do you guys want to do?
Well, what's the kind of structural integrity we're looking at? Could we just blow the thing open?
don't know if below it would be the best solution. I mean, we got some rock around us here, but there is quite a bit of sand that would just fall on us if we blasted too much of the rock away.
What if we could get smaller? Would that be useful?
Well, yeah. I mean,
that would be if I wasn't extremely tapped right now.
Oh, you can do that.
I can.
I was just brainstorming. I didn't know that there was someone who actually could do that.
No, and normally that's the trick that I use with Torque, is I'll make them bigger.
Oh,
I can also make them smaller, but I can't do
I'm liking this crew more and more.
I have multiple ways we might be able to get past this. I am the master of sea and sky, of which there is a reasonable amount of in abundance here.
Well, sea, yes, sky.
Not a whole lot of sky, but
anyway,
you can be master of sky and of sea and ceiling.
Point is, I can use the water to blast with great force away at this obstruction, or I could try using the air in the cavern as well to do the same thing. I'm not sure what kind of integrity we're looking at. One might be safer than the other. I'm going to be honest with you. Weren't many books on cave structural integrity where I learned to read.
Indeed.
Sounds like a dwarf thing.
Anfel.
That's racist.
But accurate.
That's rules accurate.
Don't call something racist but accurate. That's horrible out of context.
It is. When it comes to dwarves, it's a very dwarven thing. So Anfel, even though you are in Torque's body right now, knowledge-wise, you have the keen mind of a dwarf.
Oh, do I get stone cunning?
You may make a stone cunning check for me.
Hey.
Okay. What ability score do I ascribe to that?
So it's gonna be history, but is Torque proficient in history?
No, but I do have a +1 to history.
So for this, in this case, you can add proficiency to history, so you can be trained in history.
I'll just temporarily toggle it on, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. It's all right. Getting them out of our system.
Now I'm a little. Aye.
That's a 1.
I was in that 1, by the way, for those of you.
Aye, grandson. I'm a little bit out of the loop. We still make buildings out of stone in this year, right?
Yes.
Oh, aye, grand. This doesn't look like any sort of stone I've seen in quite a while.
Yeah. Why don't we just? Can you just like shove yourself through it with that shell? I mean, that sounds like something Torque would do, or like hit it.
I can certainly try.
Right, guys? Torque would just like hit it, wouldn't he?
Probably, yeah.
Aye, well, when in Porto Darius do as the Porto Darius do. I'll
you
just
gotta
body myself through.
Okay.
Don't
give me
jab.
Let's do this. It's kind of like a charging attack almost, right? So tell me what's your
bull rush
here?
I mean, if I'm just trying to brute force it, I would probably say athletics, right?
So you just want to try and like
shoulder check,
like going at it, like punching it, or
what
like
you gotta do. What you gotta do is what you want to do.
Like, have you ever seen like a
get a little bit of distance away, right? Then you're gonna want to just start swimming real fast. Suck yourself into your shell and start a spin, and you'll just ram into it.
That sounds a bit
I saw a dragon turtle do that once.
Sounds like it'd be a bit hard to steer.
Blew a hole open in the side of a ship the size of a small island.
Can a DM take away inspiration?
Wait, if the hole is the size of a small island, then how big was this ship?
I think you could probably figure that out.
All right, athletics check. Here we go.
Hooray.
Oh no, 11.
I try to
You're
put
not spinning.
I do. I think Anfel does try to put the spin on it and just sort of makes himself nauseous and kind of like
It just like bounces off of it. You knock a couple of rocks loose.
Yeah, the spinning actually kills the momentum because it cuts down on the aero, like the hydrodynamics. So he actually gets slower the more he spins.
It is.
I want the record to show that it looks cool.
Sure.
Until it fails.
Yeah.
Let's not do that again.
Why not? That was awesome. I wasn't even really paying attention. You got to do it again.
I think I'm going to be sick, but I don't know what this big lad's been eating. I don't think I want to see it.
Torque's got
lots of water.
Big anchor. You take that anchor off and just like you just hit it probably.
I thought we didn't want to smash it, but if that's what it comes down to, then
we don't want to blow it apart to pieces. That's what I'm thinking. Like whatever Talon had in mind with his whole like, but.
All right.
A couple of well-placed shots might be okay.
I've also still got the Daedalus axe. You think I could just sort of wedge it in there and try to sort of pry it open like a pry bar?
What do you guys think?
I think Torque right now is spitting inside his own brain because we're spending so much time talking.
Big bludgeoning thing seems like it'd be good against rocks.
Sounds like a good plan, yeah.
Torque. Aware of all of this going on, would you like to try and influence the current host of your body in any way to take any particular sort of action?
Yeah, I think if Torque can kind of like take the reins for a second, he would probably just take the maul and just smash a hole.
Okay. Give me a let's call this a persuasion check.
Okay.
As you mentally try to persuade yourself, but not yourself.
I have a +2 to this.
Let's see a Torque roll. That's not a Torque roll.
11. Okay.
All right. I think I'm just going to smash it, I think. That sounds like the right thing to do in this situation.
You get this, Anfel, you get this like tiny little like, smash it. like.
Right. I think I'm just going to smash it then. If everyone else wants to move a bit further back.
Actually, I'm going to go through. I'm going to scout out the other side, make sure there's nothing waiting to jump you.
It's not a bad idea.
Why didn't you do that 10 minutes ago before we had this whole conversation?
I was waiting for... I'm going to go through.
Okay.
Hey.
So Flick swims through the little hole.
Yep.
Immediately eaten.
No, I like all of you, but you're not really the sharpest arrows in the quiver, then, are you?
I'll have you know I'm plenty intelligent.
For the record, we've been awake for way too long.
I just don't let it hold it back.
Hey.
Looks on the other side, you see just an underwater tunnel carrying on for about another probably 400 or 500 yards, and you can kind of see it start to open up into open ocean beyond.
And how long is the obstruction?
It's only about like 4 or 5 feet kind of in total width. It's not like super big. It's just enough of a spot that's caved in to make it a little bit difficult passing through.
Is there anything easier to knock loose from this side versus the side we were on?
You can give me an investigation check.
Sure.
This is probably happening while Torque is in the process of swinging at it with a maul, I'd say.
17 investigation.
Okay, so you're turning in looking. As you've gone through and you kind of turn to look, Anfel is... So you want to make an attack.
And he's going for the wind up.
Here's the swing. Do I make my attack?
Yeah.
Do I make it recklessly?
That's up to you.
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna spoil myself a bit.
Okay.
That's a 17. It seems to have automatically rolled the damage.
It does. So a 17 does hit. It's rocks. They're there. So you do bit of a good kind of nudge. Right as that happens, you hear just from the other side, oh! Flick, you do see a spot where there's like one larger rock that almost kind of looks like something that could be used as kind of what's the term I'm looking for?
Fulcrum?
A fulcrum, that's it. Yeah. Yeah. That if enough pressure was kind of placed on it in either direction, like up or down, it would kind of break free the top section and just have it kind of collapse to the bottom, and it would make most of the top like open.
Is this something
as
I could
as
do?
torque hits? There's like a couple of rocks kind of move in. You see that stone up there kind of goes and like shifts a little bit, and you probably don't want it to shift too much more before you kind of put pressure in the right spot.
All right. Is this something I can handle on my own, or am I going to need help?
Given your investigation of 17, you probably don't have enough strength to manage this on your own.
Who's our strong people? I guess Connor would be the strongest who can fit. Hey, Captain, we got a much easier way to deal with this. If you could swim through, we're gonna.
Sure. Yeah.
Just come over here and take a look.
Sure.
All right, and I point out. All right, see that big one there? You just need to nudge it there. Except, big pipes here and all, but not that one loose, and everyone can get through easy peasy.
All right. Yeah, I think if you give me a hand with this, we can.
Absolutely. But yep. So yes, with my directions, I'm gonna give the help action to Connor to make the roll.
Okay. So he kind of gets himself positioned like up with his feet against like the wall, and kind of puts his back with like an elbow like in where he can kind of like get all of his. You basically use his weight to just kind of like push down on it to knock it loose. So I will make a. I guess this will just be an athletics with advantage. Physical dice.
Old school style. One
is a 9 and the other is a 19.
Hey.
I helped.
Good helping.
So that's gonna be 24. So he puts all his weight on it and just you see his like thick dwarven muscles just bulging as he presses down. Those on the other side, you see a couple of rocks like kind of come loose, and all of a sudden the whole thing just like kind of falls and creates a little pile on the bottom of the tunnel. And there's now a decent size opening in the top. And as that happens, like the water level actually kind of shifts a little bit. And the pocket of air, you can kind of see where it like opens up. It becomes, what's what I'm looking for? Narrower, less air as it kind of fills out a little bit longer down the tunnel, right? And so where it was like 1 foot, and then it was kind of blocked off, and so now it kind of like evens out. So
it sort of disperses.
Like, that's the word.
Displacement is the
displacement. Yes, displaces. It does science things.
Yes.
Okay. It sciences and follows physics. And then eventually it kind of evens out, and you watch as the tunnel actually starts to kind of fill up, and you're like, it's a good thing we have water breathing, all of us. However, now there is no air, and so talking becomes more challenging as you are now all fully submerged. But the way is clear.
Flick is quite pleased with himself and is in the classic ta-da pose when everyone arrives. So,
Connor gives
all
you
right, well,
punch on the shoulder.
For future reference, let's just send the goblin head for everything. He seems to have a good head on his shoulders.
Am I right?
Although we do need to have a word about the nicknames.
Is what you
do
hear.
Need to have a chat about the nicknames, though. I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with mine.
All you hear is
it's perfectly fine.
All right.
So you're all now swimming underwater. Communication is limited to, a short like hand gestures and the like, because speaking underwater and breathing underwater are very different things.
True.
As we've established in previous sessions.
Indeed. So Connor kind of takes the lead again and leads you out towards the end of the tunnel. As you approach, you can see the keel of boats. That's the word.
Keel is the bottom.
Yeah.
Keel, yeah. I was like heel. No, heel is wrong. Keel, yeah. Keel is right. Yeah. You see the keel of many ships anchored in harbor there. including one that looks familiar with certain apparatus attached to the backside of it. And you remember that the storm collar is still in port.
That's my escape route. I mean,
Flick just like, see ya.
Yep.
Exit campaign. He's never heard from again.
Pockets full of gold. I'm ready to roll. I mean, ballast. It's ballast.
I mean, have fun sailing a whole ship by yourself, I guess.
I mean, he maybe Flick might have a hard time, you know.
It just needs to be lefty
Gold
and shorty.
for hire a crew. Away we go.
True. As you kind of come out underneath these ships and stuff, you can see up above that there does appear to be fighting going on the docks. Occasional muzzle flash. You can see some flamings being thrown, a couple spells being tossed back and forth as well. Every now and then a bullet, an arrow, projectile kind of hits the water, falls in. You can see a couple bodies laying in the water.
I'm just gonna motion to Connor and to sort of pantomime. Okay, the other dwarves carrying the big stuff, and then I'm gonna point to the fighting and like, are they going to be able to get through that?
Like, they'll be okay.
Then why are we swimming? This is the confusion.
Heavy, carrying, dropping.
All right, I'll steal second. Got it. Okay.
Anfel is going to just keep moving towards our destination while everyone else sits around. Like, I don't know what's going on. I try to talk to them, it just bubbles come out. I'm just going to keep going.
All right, so you make your way to the wreck known as the Undership. The ancient, I guess, technically ancient, you know, hundreds of years ago, centuries old vessel that Anfel sailed to this location from Gungram Isles to establish the small little port that would become Porto de Ares. From underneath the water, you can see the underside of this ship that has been grown over and encrusted with all kinds of growth, almost becoming somewhat of a coral reef. In a sense, and there's just life all over it. It's kind of taken over, but you can still make out the general shape of the ship here, and it appears to be remarkably intact, actually. And Connor kind of just continues to lead you through, always kind of keeping an eye up above, as you can just kind of see, you know, the light of flame in various sources, and there appears to be quite a guffaw going on.
Before we move on, Anfel is going to just gently kind of just stroke the side of the ship with one hand, like he's greeting an old friend, and he says, just softly, like, "Hey, it's good to see you again.
Okay.
You look a bit different than the last time I saw you, but it's not a bad look." And then he's going to keep following the others.
It has weathered fairly well. Anfel, give me I wouldn't call this a history. I'd call this just a straight wisdom. Just straight wisdom check. Just
straight wisdom.
Yeah, just kind of a memory, personal memory kind of thing.
Well, it's a 7, so I think my memory is.
It's one of those parts that's still a little bit foggy. There's some things that aren't quite clear to you, and you're kind of, what was the name of that ship again?
I'm Anfel. Are you here to rescue me?
Basically. Yeah, there's still large sections of time that are just gaps that you can't recall. They're just kind of just beyond, you know, having spent centuries in an axe. Your mind isn't quite as sharp.
Oddly enough.
Hey.
Irony.
As you'd expect.
That's what that
Hey.
Yes, it was very irony. I think it was mostly iron.
Oh man, we're horrible tonight. Connor leads you up, not to the ship itself, but you can see where this outcropping of rock, this smaller island. He kind of leads you to a little bit of another cave entrance that's kind of seems to be covered by some of this coral and this growth and kelp. There's a whole bunch of natural growth, and right into a big, huge stand of kelp that's growing right up. He just swims right in through it and kind of parts it and kind of turns around in waves for you guys to follow.
All right.
We will follow.
Suppose so.
Okay. As you all enter into this patch of kelp, give me a perception check, please.
All of us?
All right.
Yep.
Perception.
With your passive being the lowest.
Well, then that's a 14.
Hooray.
15 for me.
18.
When will my good rolls come back from the war?
Dinar rolled a 1, so 11 is going to be his lowest.
Okay. So we got 11, 13, 18,
14.
and 14. Okay. You all get the vague sense that something is aware of you as you go kind of through the kelp. Talon, your connection to nature magic kind of gives you a bit of an aid in this. As you pass through, you realize that this kelp was magically grown and seems to have a bit of an awareness, a sense to it. There's an enchantment that you feel it more as you go through, almost like it's responding to you, responding to your touch, and it's kind of aware of you and is allowing you passage. It's permitting you. It's less you pushing your way through, and it's more it allowing you to move through it.
Anyone else get the feeling that we're just like mites on the back of a very hairy beast?
Is what everybody hears.
Oh, to be totally clear, them being able to understand me is in no way going to affect my proclivities.
Totally. I hold no illusions to that effect, but absolutely.
Yeah, since Flick doesn't have the deeper understanding, just that feeling of being watched, the dagger is now out.
Okay. Yep.
I should probably pull the rapier out.
As you pass through,
I mean, I already had the maul out, so.
Torque has himself out. He's just Anfel. Anfel has Torque out. As you pass through this kelp stand into what is clearly a kind of a carved out tunnel, looks like it's less natural and again more kind of magically formed and shaped. And you can see that there's actually some sort of steps, half holds that kind of allow you to move up this tunnel until you come where the water breaks and you can see soft green light in a cavernous space above. And as you come through, you see Connor kind of pulling himself out and just heaving himself over the ledge there.
And I wish you'd let me go first.
Anfel will follow him up as well. I think he's kind of eager to get into the Undership.
Okay.
I think the fact that he can't really bring to mind his memories of the ship is just sort of like making him want to get in there even more in hope that it'll jog something.
For sure.
Onward and outward.
Yep, up we go.
Breaking the surface of the water. You're in.
So anyway, as I was saying down there the entire time.
You're in a cavern that's about sort of 20 by 20 feet, semi-spherical. And in one side, you can see what appears to be the hull of a ship. There's no door. There's nothing. It's just like the rock kind of comes and stops. And you just see the planks, remarkably well-preserved planks along the side of a ship.
So it's like it's like fused to the rock, or it's just kind of resting there and it's just been so worn away that it's basically.
Give me, for you, I'd say give me an Arcana check.
Okay.
On this.
20.
Hey.
20. This obviously is not natural, nor does it seem to be something that was necessarily intentional. It appears as though the ship was somehow caught in an ataxian fracture, more or less.
Oh,
perhaps
good.
on a small scale that distorted nature and the physical elements here.
Reality
to essentially fuse the ship and the rock together. Like the rock kind of grew into the ship, but left some of the ship there. But there definitely was something that happened here.
Is this
ever like enable no clip?
Sorry, what?
This is a shipwreck, right?
It is a shipwreck.
It's a well enough known shipwreck.
You haven't heard of this shipwreck.
Okay.
So Anfel, you would at the very least recall that when you did first arrive here, that the ship that you came in on, you basically crashed it onto shallows that seemingly kind of came out of nowhere. The ship was not under rock at that point. It was basically got beached and the hull torn and was scuttled. And then you and your fellows kind of left it there as a here we are kind of thing.
No, my stone cannon tells me that these rocks that are in the middle of the ship, they should not be there. You got to have a keen eye for these things, lads.
Very, very keen sense, Anfel. Well done.
Aye.
Connor kind of interjects. So, this was before my time and after yours, Anfel. This island, this part of the island here, the rock, it just sort of shifted. There was a great shift kind of in the land all around here. It seemed to coincide with a minor eruption from Mount Shiragasa, which seemed to kind of come out of nowhere. And some real strange magic-y things kind of happened when that all transpired. And there was some blue fire I remember people talking about and other kind of strange things going on. The ship sort of got swallowed, as it were, by the rock.
Blue fire, eh? Sounds like something out of an old fairy tale.
Yeah.
Must have been grand. I wish I could have remembered any of it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this was kind of in between our times, but anyway, that's sort of how the Undership was created. And, members of our clan came to investigate sort of after that transpired and worried that this relic of our history was kind of destroyed, but we found it actually kind of encased in stone. And we had some of our wizard folk magic up a way for us to kind of get it in and out and use it as a bit of a safekeep, as it were.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to find some use for the old girl, even if she can't take to the sea again. I'm sure that she appreciates being part of Ship Boone, even if she can't be a ship in the traditional sense. Thank you for taking good care of her in my absence.
I mean, I'm kind of curious about something. I want to see if this works.
Well, if it's a question, I can't guarantee I'll remember the answer, but I can certainly try.
No, but you're in Torque's body, but
hey,
you are Anfel.
Yes, we've established this.
Would you mind kind of taking a step forward and just placing your hand on the hull here?
What you cooking up there?
I'll go put my hand on the hull.
Okay. Nothing happens. You see Connor kind of look a little bit crestfallen. He goes, "Oh,
Well, something was supposed to happen. I don't think it'll happen as long as I'm like this.
I thought
it was
it'd
worth
be
a shot,
fitting
though, lad.
Yeah, I thought it'd be fitting for you to be the one to kind of open the way for us, sort of as you have a nice reunion with the ship.
That imply that
she probably just has it. She probably just doesn't recognize me. I have had a bit of a haircut since then,
You can say
and a
that.
bit of a shave.
Connor
Also, I'm
places
a
his hands.
300-pound turtle.
Yeah, just minor details, you know. He places his hand on the hull, and you watch as the plank where he put his hand kind of shimmers a little bit green and kind of goes along the length of the plank. And then the entire width or the entire expanse of the hull there just kind of seems to go translucent and then just completely disappear. And you can now see inside what appears to be the hold at the bottom of the Undership. And inside there are casks and crates and barrels and chests and storage shelves. Lights come on as the entryway opens up. It is a well-kept safe house. After you, lads.
Neat trick.
It tells me Jorand might have a hand in some of this.
Something tells me you might be right.
Then I will walk through admiring the arcane nature of what's happening here.
Our wizards did the work, but we definitely had some consultation from our archwizard friend. Indeed, he helped us quite a bit in figuring this little trick out. So, anyway, please come on in and find everything we need here. We've got bedrolls and cots and there's food. We got lots of food stored away. Yes, there's booze. But this will be a good place for us to kind of rest up for the night, regather our strength, and figure out what to do next.
Time flies when you're having rum. Clink.
I could use a drink as well, I think.
We've got some significantly aged dwarven whiskey.
How aged?
This stuff's great.
Well, you want the real fine stuff? We got 250-year-old.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, that's almost as old as I am.
Cask of whiskey.
Oh.
I think this would be the right occasion for us to break that open if you feel so inclined.
I think Talon just looks like Fry after he checks his bank account balance.
Well, you're the captain now, aren't you? I reckon it's your call.
Anyway, let's come on inside and I'll close her up so we can make sure we got some privacy here. And don't worry, that kelp that we passed through down there, it'll keep any unfriendlies away. I'm not sure if you noticed that it was sort of letting us through. It's part of the whole enchantment here. That
what was that feeling of being?
Alarm.
Was it that feeling of being stared at the whole time? That was the kelp.
Yeah, it's not normal kelp. It's sort of got an alarm enchantment, sort of divination kind of magic tied to it as well. That it knows who to let pass and who not. So I went first. I kind of, saw me as friend, knew.
That's some awfully clever seaweed there.
Pass, so.
Dinar, can you make kelp that does that?
No.
Why is it that every single time I ask you about something magical, if you can do it, the answer is always no? You gotta step up.
A can't or a won't situation.
Dinar holds back a magic for Talon.
It doesn't have to be kelp. You could make it into pretty flowers or hops. In fact, could you make animated hops that attack people and remove their sense of taste?
Dinar's just gonna turn around and walk towards some of the lit up things in the room and try to study their means of being lit.
I think while all this is happening, Anfel is kind of just looking around, just kind of stunned silence I think it's frustrating to him that he can't remember as much of this as he would like, but it definitely stirs some like sense memories in him.
Indeed. Give me an investigation check as you have a look-see.
Me?
Anfel.
Anfel.
/ Torque.
Oh, I thought you meant Dinar as well.
I will have Dinar as well, but just tying up under that, give me it.
You keep making me roll all these stats on that.
Man.
That's another one for you. That's
You are
not really
really
sure what-
not Torque.
I just can't remember anything.
You're not really sure what to look at. You're just kind of like, what? Dinar, you can give me a check as well as you have a look-see.
Is this investigation perception?
What's are you just kind of have a general look, or are you looking for anything particular?
Dinar's probably just doing a general look. He was more or less just trying to get away from Tayland.
Okay, give me a perception check then.
Okay. I did roll a 17 plus my 1 for 18.
18. Okay. It's been well stocked. You could even see that there are some kind of basic weaponry as well. Basic armor. Essentially, they've brought as much as they could foresee needing, if they ever had to actually use this place for essentially what you are using it now. There's even some barrels that are, most of it's clearly marked. You can see some gunpowder. You can see some various kind of ship equipment, canvas and, nails and irons and fittings and all kinds of other things that have been stored in here. And as you just kind of take a look around, you see the ladder that kind of leads up to one of the other decks above, and placed kind of ornamentally on the ceiling of the hold that you're in above that, you do see a plaque, and it bears the name Last Vestige.
Does that mean anything to Dinar?
You can give me a history check if you'd like.
I would like. That's correct.
Sure it is.
It was. The little tassel from my notebook was stuck in there. I rolled a 10, but my history is 7, so 17.
17. You recall nothing.
Okay.
No, doesn't mean anything to you.
Okay.
Sounds cool. Doesn't mean anything though.
Hey, Captain.
Hey.
Seeing up here, this plaque, it says The Last Vestige.
Hey.
Is that the name of this ship?
Sure is.
Anfel.
Hey,
Is that perking any memories for you? The Last Vestige?
does it?
It does now.
I think something's coming back to me, lad.
Name brings back memory of one of the first ships of its kind. The Gungrim were fundamental in kind of starting the age of sail in the Isles here, and bringing ships beyond, sort of the caravels and things that had kind of existed at that time. And this was a very early design of a frigate, a kind of idea that the dwarves had of building a ship that was less for just passengers and actually outfitted for heavy duty exploration with firepower as well. A lot of the technology that was put into it didn't necessarily work out so well, which is how you ended up marooned in the first place and kind of beached it. But some of it sort of comes back, some memories of leaving Gungrim with your brother, and about 40 to 50 or so of fellow Gungrim dwarves who were kind of keen on establishing a new colony, a new identity. Some of their faces kind of come back to you. Just glimpses here and there of, open sea, times aboard the ship. Happy memories.
It's beginning to come back to me now.
I
Little by
was
little.
just a little lad, or so my mommy told me. Away, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe.
Well, he said, yeah. Let's keep those drinks coming, lads. I feel like celebrating tonight.
So follow me, lads, 'cause this ain't no grog or ale. 1 pint down, you'll be swinging in the gale. 5 pints, buddy, you'll be shaking in your shoes. We're half seas over on the Jolly Rouge. Meow.
As you all enjoy a bit of a reprieve and some aged whiskey. It's old enough that it's not even aged, it's aged.
Aged, yep.
Ye old whiskey.
Ye old whiskey.
Indeed, yeah. Anything else you want to take care of before getting some much needed rest?
Flick, rummaging in his bag, he pulls out 3 packages from his backpack. There's a metal case. There is something that's sort of wrapped up in like a sack. Actually, there's 2 sacks and a metal case. Is what we've got going on here. And since Talon's about to sit down and have a drink, he
about
just
to.
You're gonna refill your drink. Since we're celebrating here, I figured well, it's also the anniversary of the day that I got freed. So
Is it really?
Well, I'm saying it is. I don't like the early days were a little bit of a blur, so I don't have an exact pinpoint, but I'm declaring today my Emancipation Day. So I'm going to give you guys some gifts.
Why are you giving us gifts? Should we be giving you gifts?
No. You guys are my new family that I found once I got on the outside. So, yeah. I appreciate that you guys have taken me in, and I want to show that appreciation a little bit. That's all. For example, Talon, and he hands you a metal case about the size of a pencil box, hinge opening.
Greatest treasure ever.
It's lined and padded inside with like red felt, and inside are 2 glass straws. Yeah, if you're gonna drink, do it with refinement, eh?
These crazy straws.
Yeah, these are top tier. It's glass, right? It's not just like reeds full of splinters and crap. So
it's not paper.
Yeah, no, these are.
He took these from the McDonald's on the way here.
Right.
But the important part here is that there's 2 of them, because you don't need to drink alone all the time. Find someone and share, hey?
Cheers, my goblin friend.
And I soda shop in, both of us drinking from the same drink, soda shop style, just take a little slurp from yours, move on.
That's nice.
D, and he sort of unravels this thing, and it's a big, wide leather belt. Now, you and me, we talk magic a lot, and
we do.
I've seen how you keep your spells not in a big, crappy book like me. You got them belts, and they're looking kind of full, so I thought maybe you'd need a new one.
Wow.
And sometime I could even, show you some of my magic to put on it, hey?
Again, I'm not going to say no to that.
All right.
That's amazing. Thank you, Flick.
And now I got the confusing one. Hey, Marbles. Can Torque hear me?
I'm not rightly sure, but figure it's worth a go, right?
I got him these, and he sort of reaches in and pulls out this oversized pair of boxer shorts with polka dots on them. It's like, I figured you'd need more of them, but
Just talking about.
But there is another one too, and he sort of opens the rest of the sack, and you see it is sort of an elaborate array of straps and hooks, and it's like, I've been taking some measurements here, and this is for you to carry that anchor a little better, because I've seen the wear and tear that you carry around, and this will help distribute the weight a little better, and sometimes it just takes an outside observer to really figure out where the load is and help you bear the weight a little more, right? For your ship.
Torque, give me a wisdom saving throw with advantage.
Okay. Who needs remove curse when we've got this? When we've got the feels.
The feels. It's all with the feels.
19.
Hey.
19. Hearing Fleck explain these gifts to you, and just this moment of companionship, this moment of, whatever you want to call it, him kind of reaching out to his family, it gives you that extra sense of, I need to be there in this moment. This is something that I can't be in the background for, and you kind of get that sense, almost like a little nudge as well. And there's kind of a weird, almost like rushing sensation as you kind of find yourself just like thrust forward in your mind, and physical sensation kind of returns to you, almost with a little bit of a tingle, as you kind of like suddenly find yourself in control of your body and you're present. And you hear this you hear a voice in the back of your mind going, oh, hey, whoa. Now where am I?
I think,
man,
from Flick's perspective, as he proffers the gifts, he holds out the harnesses and then also the boxer shorts. And as he holds them out, there's suddenly just like a little wet spot on the surface, and then another. This is a fine gift. Finer than an old sea dog like myself rightly deserves.
I'll drink to that.
Glad to have you back, little buddy.
I could do much worse than a crew like this. I have done worse than a crew like this. And I would like to offer you all my sincerest gratitude for allowing an old sinner like myself a second chance. A chance to make a difference for the better. To leave the world a little bit better than how we left it. So thank you for that.
A toast.
Yeah, Flick's already hugging you, so that's fine. He's wrapped around your leg. And he's
To the best crew we ever did have.
I'll certainly drink to that.
Hey.
Kind friends and companions,
I'm not gonna lie,
in right. Come and lift up your voices in chorus with mine.
Now, I may need
here.
a bit of a catching up. I haven't been myself lately.
That's putting it mildly there, little guy.
Does it change back after that? Like, do I go back to Anfel after that? Or what's the
No, you're still
timer on
Torque
that?
right now.
Okay.
You're Torque. Yep.
Is Marble still kicking around in there? Is he gone for good?
His presence is still there.
Yeah, you're
Somewhere.
kind of aware that he's there. Having been the one in the background, you kind of have a weird sense of your subconscious, almost like it's like a little pocket consciousness, and you just kind of, you don't hear anything, you don't hear a voice, but you do know, like, yeah, there's somebody else in here with me, kind of thing. It's weird.
I think he's still eager to leave my mind, but in his defense, I have never been a very suitable host.
All right, drinks for everyone. Let's do this right.
All right.
So here's a health to the company and one to our paths. Let us drink and be merry, all out of one glass. Let us drink and be merry, oh grief to refrain. For we may or might never all meet here again.
Can't do one glass because of COVID though, but yeah, otherwise.
That's what he but that's but he gave me 2 straws for 1 glass.
I know. That's right.
Just
sanitize it.
I have to keep ensuring that
COVID does not exist in Eudora.
That I maintain the reputation of having a sea shanty for every occasion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So as the hours wax or wane.
It'd be Wayne. I guess it'd be both, technically, depending on your perspective.
I guess it's true. As the hours creep along, or pass along in drunken...
Time flies when you're having rum.
There we go.
Is well known at this point.
You all sort of succumb to your weariness and finally get that much needed long rest.
That long rest that Dinar's ever so happy for.
Hooray! Long rest.
Yay, long rest.
You all, I'll say with the events that have transpired, there's the mental weariness, the physical weariness, the emotional cost of it all weighing on you. Adding to that, the effects of the night's enjoyment. You hit a pretty deep sleep. But there's a comfort in it. You perhaps for the first time in a long time feel like it's okay to not be on guard, to not be in watch, even if it's just for a night. And so you all drift off. Find that rest. More or less within an hour or so, you kind of come to stumble a bit. You kind of hear the call of seagulls outside, kind of beyond the outside of the ship, kind of signaling, that day has dawned. Another sound kind of brings you to wake as you hear various bells, sort of alarm sounding. It would seem that the events of the previous night and the early morning have continued on into the day, and there's still unrest in Porto de Arias. Whether it is all tied to Ship Boone or not is hard to determine at the moment, but things are unsettled. Connor comes down the steps bearing plates of breakfast. It's mostly dried goods, and there's some salted preserved meats and
salted pork.
It's quite good. As much as he's been able to scramble together some rations to try and make a little bit of something of a breakfast, but it's food and it's plentiful, and he kind of brings it and offers it. And, if you don't mind, I kind of let you all sleep. And, thought I'd start your morning off right, seeing as we haven't had very many good mornings of late.
Best morning I've had in a while, not gonna lie.
It is much appreciated, Captain.
We have you back, Torg. I mean,
Glad to be back for however long that lasts.
Anfel, if you can hear me, we'll figure this out. Grand Captain, sir. But Torg, it's good to have you. I've done some thinking over the night, and well, I'm going to stay here and collect some of those loyal and bring them in. I have ways of getting in contact with them. I think for you four, though, you need to find a way to get joined and get out of here.
Wait for the best, yeah. Though.
So we, just to clarify, because I've been a little bit out of the loop, we don't really understand what's going on up there at the moment, except that there's a lot of fighting and that the Fellhammer clan may or may not be involved.
Well, there's a few possibilities the way I see it. There's the infighting in our ship. Those of our kin, I suppose you can kind of divide it between the two brothers, those who've continued in Anfel's footsteps and those who are more devoted to Fennec's side of things. And
any chance that any of the other ships are involved?
I'm not going to rule it out. The other possibility, though, is that perhaps another tower or group in the city has seen to take advantage of this. Now, it wouldn't be the other ships. The ships are forbidden from interfering in intership business. Now, any of that business
doesn't actually mean anything, though, does it?
You'd be surprised.
If the entire city is swept up in this, I would hazard to say that this is personal ship business.
If things spill outside of the compound, as perhaps we saw up in the docks there, that would definitely bring other ships as a guard, sort of, as it were, to step in. The high captains would call militia to orders, as it were, to secure the city.
My only thought during all this is that it does make me wonder, in the midst of all this chaos, what our friend Runix may be up to.
That was the first name that popped into my head.
Seeing as he is a man who is known for his contingency planning, I doubt that he's been caught flat-footed in all of this.
There's a term.
You're not wrong about that. However, the other ships are involved. The captains have called things into play here. That's not a situation where Runix would show his face. He's one to operate more in the shadows and behind the scenes and looking for opportune moments as opposed to going up against the 6 ships, any of them.
So what you're saying is he's coming for you here. And when we leave, you're going to get shanked, and it's not going to be pretty.
He won't know how to get me here.
How long can you stay here before you run out of supplies?
2 years, 3 years.
Oh, okay.
So we have plenty of time, is what you're saying.
Needed. Don't you worry. We've been securing and stockpiling and putting wards and stuff on this place for decades.
God, the Boones are preppers.
Any good dwarf is. I mean, when you live
it's actually paid off in
years,
this case.
you got to think long term, right? So, I mean, you always got to have a backup plan. Anyway, it's time that, I need to kind of take control of the ship here and see to my responsibilities as acting high captain, whatever that looks like. I am officially releasing the 4 of you from my command.
Don't take it personally if you still call you Cap.
Take that as an honor. But
This
I
is
won't be
'cause I
calling the
didn't get
shots
your
for the
present,
four
isn't
of
it?
you. Clearing my head for me, taking care of Kuna, that's present enough. Restoring me. But I need to be here, and I need to take care of whatever's going to come. I need to be in the thick of this. It's the right place for me. You four, you got other things going on. You got other destinies, I think. Pretty clear from all the different things that are transpiring and the forces at work here. I can't say that I understand any of it, but see what Jordan has for you, and do me a favor. Get out of port. Don't come back for a while. It's not because I don't want to see it, but I think it's going to be safe here for the next little bit.
Well,
No argument for me, Captain.
If we can make our way to our ship, then that's the plan.
You go see Jordan. See what we can figure out. I'll get a ship for you. Let me take care of that.
Thank you, Captain, for everything.
My pleasure. As a high captain, as it were now, I have a few more strings that I could pull. Acquiring a ship will be a little bit easier than I previously thought when we first arrived here. So,
Captain, just a thought came to mind.
Yeah.
The Ataxian weapons that we brought back, are they still on our ship?
I don't know. I'm not sure what you did with them.
Well, if anyone stumbles across them, I imagine that they would do more harm than good to the wielder, so perhaps this would be an opportunity to cut our losses.
I mean, we could keep him here in the Undership if need be.
We did mention going to Jordan's tower, yes? Perhaps if we
Indeed
attempted to retrieve them on the way, maybe we could take them to Jordan for safekeeping like we originally planned. I don't want to take us too far off of the script that we have set for ourselves, but I suppose Dinar is right in that letting these items fall into the wrong hands could be disastrous, not just for Porto Darius, but perhaps for the world itself.
To be frank, I now have the ability to understand a little bit more about them. I'm kind of curious.
Don't say.
I'd like to know what they can do.
So it's decided then. We'll head back to the Stormcaller, retrieve the Axiom weapons, somehow covertly escort them to Jordan's tower, and then figure out what to do with them from there.
Sounds easy enough.
Right, well, no sense in deliberating it any further. Not to belabor a point. Torque will sling his anchor maul into his shiny new harness.
Sweet.
Hike up his boxer shorts. Kind of marvel at the fact that Flick was able to find something in his size. And head out the door.
You're looking pretty good.
It's a thing of
I'm
beauty.
not going to... I'm doing this for Flick, not for you.
What?
Oh, I'm enjoying it as well.
Torque.
Hmm?
Just before you go.
Wow, Flick even cut a hole for his tail.
Lots of measurements on the sly, let me tell you.
Can Dinar, Talon, you got any ways to alter your appearance, change your looks?
Why would I want to?
So that people don't recognize you and try to kill you.
Well,
Okay, yeah, that's
I don't know what you're walking into out there. You got still any Akuna's minions and stuff that are still out there, and if there's anybody else in looking to take advantage of what's going on out here.
Well, unfortunately, I potentially have some methods. What do you have, Dinar?
Dinar is angry.
You have the spell, but you didn't prepare it?
He kind of huffs and he's like, I'm getting real sick of you guys asking me to do things that I can't do.
What do you mean?
You're a wizard. You're supposed to do everything.
No, I can't
like
change
this?
my appearance.
Flick now looks like a halfling.
Are you just? Are you like a halfling that look exactly like Flick?
Yeah, pretty much.
Just as a halfling. Yeah. Okay.
He's now a pink colored goblin.
I think you could
with very hairy feet.
Well,
yes, that's
part of our.
it's a start.
Part of our contingency plan for having this whole place and needing to kind of come and go undercover. I only have 2 of them. There. He kind of reaches into one of the chests and he pulls out 2 different looking hats. One's kind of more like beret-like, and the other one's more like kind of like what Jack's wearing, actually, like more like a toque-like. And he kind of holds them up. These are hats of disguise. They will allow you, the wearer, to alter your appearance in minor ways. You can't really change. You can change your height, kind of within a foot or so. You can, make yourself look like, a different humanoid race, or I think Torque might even make yourself look like an ogre or something. I don't know. But you can change how you look a little bit to just throw people off.
I think if there's only the 2. Well, Flick is looked after, and not to be too generalist, but I think that I should take one of the hats, and then one should go to Captain Dinar.
Probably.
No offense meant, Tayland, but as a human, you blend in a bit more than either of us.
Man's got a
There
point.
are things that we can do to disguise you without the use of magic.
Indeed.
Like other hats.
It's true.
Did we? Sorry, I don't remember. Did we ask Connor if he recognized these X-marked platinum coins and the 3 charm necklace? If he knew what that was about?
We
I
didn't.
think you did.
Did we?
I know. I asked Marbles. I just don't remember.
Oh, you asked Anfel. That's right. I don't know if you asked Connor or not.
Does he?
Can you show him to him? He's like,
I assume we would have shown it to him at some point during our little party.
sure, yeah. He didn't recognize them or significance of them at all.
Okay.
I have no idea. Sorry.
Now, if it comes down to it, I can, if we must, perform a trick of the mystic arts, which will allow me to do 2 things at once. 1, I vanish from the material. And 2, I summon Willy Redtail. And where he goes, I can then reappear and unsummon him at the same time.
So you
It sounds convoluted, but I suppose it may work.
You can just hide while you send your willy flapping around somewhere else and then just reappear again with it?
Correct, sir.
One I need to know, but sure.
Tayland, can we see your teeth for a second? Okay. No vampire fangs. We're okay. It's all good.
Well, I got a mirror. You want to try that too? See if you can see.
It is an option. I'm also perfectly willing to wear a costume of some sort.
I mean, I didn't think that was really a concern. We've crossed our share of running water in our travels thus far.
Anyway, sure what all the vampire lore is. I'm a little bit rusty on that, but
right. Okay. So Torque is going to take one of the hats and put it over his head.
Okay.
Torque is not the most creative individual. he is going to transform into Suna, the bear bartender from like session 2 or 3. He's going to flex and then just say, all right, I'm good to go. And then he's going to go into the water.
Size is roughly the same, so yeah, you become one of the bear folk, one of your Sedaean.
Dinar will take the other hat.
Look at Craig's face. He didn't think I'd remember an NPC.
Dinar will turn into what is roughly the same size as a 6-foot tall dragon? Not a 7-foot tall dragon.
6 foot tall. Anything else?
6.5.
You can make yourself a foot shorter, so you can just be a 6 foot tall human, or orc, or elf.
Just keep in mind that you can make yourself look like a human, and the tail and stuff will disappear, but physically it's still there. So if anybody were to trip over it, it'd kind of break the illusion. So just keep that in mind, okay?
Understandable. All right.
Tuck it up or something. I don't know how tails work, but
Dinar's going to put on the hat.
Wrap it around your waist as like a belt.
Something.
And Dinar is going to shrink a little bit and be a slightly taller, slightly more attractive, slightly better dressed Tayland.
I'm sorry. As far as I'm concerned, you have now taken the appearance of some sort of eldritch horror. A thing that cannot...
What is that? It's impossible.
Can we get fan art of the Virgin Tayland versus the Chad Tayland?
Please. Somebody do it. Somebody do it. All right. As you...
Really, Dinar? You've captured me quite perfectly.
Well,
how was that supposed? I thought we were supposed to be disguising. If you look exactly like me, how is that a disguise?
No, I'm taller and better looking than you.
No.
Yeah.
I will say that.
I mean, come on, Flick, back me up here.
I mean,
being sober, so you'll also look a little bit less haggard and more like. All you gotta do is smile more, and
I got a fancier suit, so.
Yeah, to be honest, all you
is a blue cravat
kind of look the same to me anyway.
Or just gonna stick his head out of the water. Are we going?
Yep, Flick said, cannonball.
Are we leaving? Can we leave?
Yeah, it has been within 24 hours, so your water breathing still actually will be effective.
Mm-hmm.
Because it does last for 24 hours. So
that it does, and it's not even concentration. Right. It's fantastic.
So, as
like to leave now.
Don your new disguises and prepare to exit the Undership, we will take a break.
Good call.
I'll be back very shortly. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Please.
Don't touch that
proverbial dial.
Mouse button.
Don't open a new tab.
Yeah. So then the shopkeeper was like, "Why a long
The
face?"
aristocrats.
Anyway, welcome back.
Hello.
Thank you for hanging out with us. And if you are Jack's friend, if you're not following us,
Oh, they're all subscribed, right, guys?
Public
Oh,
shame.
Shame.
Wink.
No.
Wink,
If they're
wink,
not
nudge,
subscribed, TPK next session. I don't see why there would be any other recourse.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait,
For their
my
party,
life is
not
in their
ours.
hands right now.
Yes.
No, for their party.
No, their lives are in your hands.
Yeah,
yeah, right.
TPK for your campaign. Awesome. All right. So you, with your disguises on, leave Connor behind. Torque,
Yes.
oddly enough, as you exit the last vestige, as soon as you step outside of it, that accompanying presence in your mind
Oh.
vanishes.
Did he stay behind in the ship? Somehow? Is he haunting the ship now?
You just kind of feel that absence suddenly.
Is he in Connor's mind now?
Would we
Right,
even
well-
know?
He's in the water. He is the kelp.
He's the-
He becomes a kelp and he's like, "Ah, dang it! This isn't what I had in mind. What a horrible existence. The horror. I don't know. How do you act kelp? I don't know how to roleplay kelp. Anyways,
My name is
I'm
Anfel.
in the
Would you
chat
like to
saying I
enter?
do a TPK every session. That only happened 4 times.
in a row. All right. You all enter back into the kind of water leading down, and are able to kind of pass through the kelp stand. And again, now that you're kind of more aware of it and you pass through it, you do kind of feel it moving and allowing you to go through it as opposed to you pushing your way. And you can feel it. It's divining magic, kind of aware of you and permitting you passage. Dinar, give me an Arcana check if you wouldn't mind. Now that
I
you
would not
have
mind.
awareness.
Arcana I'm good at.
Are you though?
I'm good at anything with a natural 20.
Oh!
So that's a 27
Snap.
total.
27. Okay. Delving deep into the mystical know-how and manifestations in your mind, you have sudden understanding of the kelp and
Oh.
how it functions. You do detect divination magic and abjuration magic just kind of ambiently there around you. And you have a very strong inclination that were you not friend, were you not permitted to pass, you probably wouldn't want to be in this kelp right now. Wouldn't go so well for you. You find yourself very thankful that Connor went first on the way in. This is
I
not
ain't
just
afraid of no kelp.
This isn't kelp. This is basically lightning rods in the water that happen to like us on their way through. You don't want to be on their bad side.
I mean, that's what everybody always says about everything. You never want to be on anyone's bad side.
Lightning and water,
about-
though.
Yeah, I can do it too. I don't see what the big deal is.
what everyone says. Caleb comes in. What's the big deal? I'm sorry.
All right. Let's, yeah, we gotta
So-
get the ship and get the goodies.
How do you wish to approach the Stormcaller?
We're still we're underwater.
Correct.
I think as long as the water breathing is holding on in everyone, I think that we should And Torque would basically take the lead on this, since communicating underwater has never really been our strong suit. I think we should approach from below and then climb up on the side that is facing away from the dock.
Ocean side, yeah.
Since we were able to pretty easily identify it on our way through, might as well.
Yeah, the kind of you've been underneath it enough and lowered down the back end of it, so you kind of recognize some of the harnessing and fittings that are in place that kind of run down the whole back of the boat to assist with the salvage mechanism and the ropes and gears and all that. So it's a little bit distinctive in that way. Okay. All right. So since we are in daylight now you are underwater, but it is day.
And the water's relatively clear, right?
Yeah. Thinking like Caribbean kind of waters here, right? Where it's not super deep, sandy shores, so it's got that kind of turquoise, clearish sheen to it. So I would like you all to give me perception checks and stealth checks if you are indeed attempting to not be seen.
I feel like we should stealth.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Perception and stealth in that order.
Stealthception.
Oof.
Oh, there's a 2.
Perception.
So my Dernard's
Inception 2.
perception is 3.
My perception is 13. If we're using my passive as the minimum, then 15.
Yes, passive is minimum.
My stealth is going to be a 9.
Something tells me we ain't stealthing.
Torque just got his body back. It's kind of like
I got a 21 for perception and 7 for stealth.
Denard got it'll be his passive perception, so 11 for perception, and then an 11 plus 1 for stealth for 12. 12 stealth.
Okay.
Flick was a 14 perception and an 18 stealth.
Okay. So not too bad overall perceptively. Stealth, you're not really sure how to be stealthy in clear water in the day. So you're just trying to be as quiet as you possibly can and trying to stay low down, kind of like maybe using the shadows if there's any, anywhere where there's shadows, cast from ships or anything like that, rocks where you can kind of hide. And, you do see that there are, there's a lot of activity on the docks. You can see guards. There's a lot of debris, including a couple of ships that seem to have been scuttled. There's one ship that's almost completely underwater and seems to be only hanging on by the moorings. Otherwise, it would have sunken right under. There's been a significant amount of damage.
The Stormcaller itself is mostly undamaged, though, right? It looks like it's been relatively untouched.
From what you can tell, as you're approaching it, yes.
I get the feeling that there's going to be someone waiting for us when we climb up there, but in for a penny.
Okay.
Torque is going to start hauling himself up there in his Ursine disguise.
Okay.
Keep yours out, boys.
So the water bear pulls himself up out of the water.
I'm a tardigrade.
And you're a tardigrade. Yes, you are. Yeah.
Followed by generic nameless human.
Yes, that's you, Tayland.
Tayland followed by the better Tayland.
Followed by perfection. An exact duplicate of Tayland, which I still don't understand how that's supposed to be incognito, but okay.
Because it's anyway, I won't. I won't. You managed to go without being seen. Not necessarily because of your excellent stealth, but more likely that those who are kind of on the docks around seem to be more preoccupied. And as you kind of come up out of the water and you manage to get a little bit of a view of sort of the high ship's dock, it's carnage. There is, lots of evidence of spells being flung. There's some of the docks are broken. You can see one of the shops kind of near the port itself has been basically burnt to a hollow. There's corpses and debris just all over. Whatever this was definitely more than just inner ship fighting. This was something bigger. Other than the debris around and the few sort of guarding figures, which, as you kind of get a look at, again, remembering that there's no main guard really present, it's more the ships that kind of serve as militia for the town. All those who are on watch are wearing the same uniform with a tabard that is pure white and a single red blood drop marked on it, like the emblem of a red blood drop. And they all have this marking.
Would any of us... Oh, sorry.
You've been in town long enough. You recognize these as the markings of House Vargast, the High Ship.
Vargast.
And so it would appear that the High Ship has stepped in to, for the time being at least, perhaps take martial control of Porto Darius.
We don't want to be in this town any longer than we have to be, I think.
Well, I think our plan was to get the Axiom weapons to Jorand and then get the hell out of Dodge, if I recall correctly.
Are we...
Do you think we could just park up the beach a little ways and bushwhack it to the tower?
I don't think so, considering that I believe there's only the harbor.
Or go up the coastline and anchor?
We could go around near Shipyard and Crimson Wave place, but it's still a walk. The only thing I can travel through we could do cross country, I suppose.
So hold on a second. Yeah. How much longer can you all breathe underwater?
It lasts for 24 hours from cast.
Give or take.
What if we were to travel using the boat canals until we reach Jordan's tower? Yes.
It was possible. As previously established, the water is clear, so it's not... I mean, then again, I could fix that, but when you think about it, one spot of murky water kind of following its way down... It's not
a perfect solution, no, but these representatives of House Vargast, I would imagine that they're more likely to look for people on street level than they are to look down at their own feet.
Agreed. We don't have enough information on what they're doing and what the current state of the town is.
Well, 3 out of 4 of us are also in disguise, so if they're looking for anyone specific, we at least have that plausible deniability.
I feel like we're not interesting enough to Vargast to be worth notice.
Well, then what's stopping us from...
Unless they're somehow involved.
Maybe it would be best to just walk on the streets then.
I am inclined to think the same. I think that if we were to travel at the bottom of the stream, even if one person sees us, that's a hell of a thing we're going to have to explain. Whereas if we're on the streets, we have a bit more options.
All right, well,
be a little
as long as we're all in agreement.
Is that what you're saying?
It would be a tad fishy, yes.
Indeed.
As long as we're all in agreement then. Torque, are we on top? Like we're on the Stormcaller now, right? Like we're on the deck of the ship?
You've crawled your way up onto the Stormcaller, yes. So
okay. Torque,
pop you over here.
In his Suna disguise, is going to go down below deck.
So basically, you've crawled yourself right up onto where the salvage equipment, the salvage crane and the harness and stuff is at the very back. So up on the poop deck. And you just kind of make your way.
While we're here, we should come up with a better name for the ship.
Well, I've given my pitch.
What about something like the Radiant Dawn? Or perhaps...
Subtle.
The Path of Radiance.
Yeah.
I will name this ship...
That's where we're going.
I will name this ship Three Houses.
Or perhaps something along the lines of let's see. What is the name of your breath weapon? Like, is it just radiant breath weapon? Or does it have a specific name?
No,
it's the name of his breath weapon is
it's breath weapon that does radiant damage.
The atomic
I don't mind.
Personally, I would call my, if this were my ship, she'd be called All the Marbles. Just say it.
I still think that we should call it Talen's Tiny Willy.
You lost the agreement, the gentleman's wager that we had. That was out of your thing. Now, I am willing to defer to Captain Dinar, of course. He'll get the final say, but the suggestions of the names will go to the victor of our little agreement.
Yeah, I like the Radiant Dawn. I also like all the marbles.
Marbles?
How about the Radiant Marble?
That's what I just said.
But singular, one marble.
Got one more pitch for you.
Okay, let's hear it.
How about the next vestige?
Ooh.
Right, well, while the rest of you decide this amongst yourselves, I'm going to go retrieve the weapons.
Yep.
And you see Torque open the door to below deck and walk in and shut the door behind him, and then there's like a 5-second pause, and then the door opens again and Torque sticks his head out. The Dawn's breath. And then closes the door again behind him.
Oh.
Radiant marble Dawn's breath.
Vestige of the Radiant Marble.
Willie.
Vestige of the Radiant marble Dawn's breath.
Willie. Dawn's breath's Willie.
And that is how you get a name from committee.
And then you just
Bodie
use like the letters and it becomes like Bodie McBoatface, yeah.
Bodie and McBoatface.
We've got some more pressing matters. Let's come back to the table.
I don't know about that.
Do we though?
Sure.
I mean, I'm enjoying this, to be honest. This is great.
I feel like
it's
important. I think it's important to have a name for the ship. Captain.
Also, I'm like, what's wrong with Stormcaller? What's wrong with that? You don't like the name of the people?
Nothing is wrong with Stormcaller. Come on, nothing is wrong with Stormcaller.
We just have to make it our own.
It is. Yeah. There is nothing wrong with Stormcaller, and if it was my ship, I'd be perfectly happy with that. But it's Dinar is the captain, and the captain should have a name befitting his style.
This is true.
And while we're having this discussion, I'm going to mark the closest couple of guards to where we are, and just sort of note
call the ship. Actually, I can't do that.
What?
Can't do
Captain
what?
Dinar of the Actually, I can't do that.
With that, Dinar's gonna go and open up the door and go below deck.
What do we call it? The magic missile.
Detect magic.
The detect magic. That's what I was gonna say.
Oh, I really like the magic missile though. I actually really like that.
The detect magic missile.
Yeah.
That kind of works, doesn't it? So, all right. So, anyways, Fleck, you're keeping an eye out on the nearby guards.
Yep.
I'll have you do perception for me. Torque in bear form. You head down into the hold.
Hey, slightly better than my passive, but the 15.
So, entering into the hold, you don't immediately see the weapons. And then you remember that you brought them into the mansion at the bequest of High Captain Aldous.
Yeah,
well,
who asked you to do so?
Could we not just tell Joran that that's where they are and then have him figure out a way to get them?
Yeah, at this point, I think it's out of our hands. But we did our due diligence, and we should press on to Joran's.
Aren't we going to Joran to have him identify those weapons?
Well, now about that, we were also going to see if we could get Anfel out of my head, although ever since we left the Undership, I have not actually felt his presence any longer, so...
Yeah, he's probably still rattling around in there, though.
Maybe we should just leave, hoist anchor, and set sail, and hope that we don't arouse too much suspicion in doing so?
I'm perfectly fine with that, but I believe Dinar might have something to say, and he is captain.
Dinar, captain.
A word?
Is there...
And another name for the ship.
Captain, a word?
So many good names.
Captain Dinar.
We might need to sit on this for a minute.
I defer to your leadership, Captain. If you think that it would be more auspicious for us to speak to the Wizard Joran before we leave, then it's your call to make. However, I, at this point, do not foresee any reason for us to do so. And I think that it would be the safer option for us to hoist anchor and leave. However...
You see that, Flick? I'm such a good influence. When we first met Torque, he barely spoke. Now he's throwing around words like auspicious.
Yeah, that's like a 10 silver word right there. That's not bad.
I have a +1 to my intelligence modifier. I'm not a savage.
You have more intelligence than me.
I mean, yeah, that tracks.
Yep.
I have a lot of wisdom. I just don't let it get in the way.
Everyone seems to think that I'm this big dumb brute just because I'm big and I smash things, but
because you didn't say much when we first met you.
That is true. I think your vocabulary then consisted of
better to have someone assume you are dumb than to open your mouth and remove all question.
All doubt, yeah.
Captain.
Yeah.
Are we going to the tower, or is it better to leave Porto Darius now while we have the advantage of stealth?
I don't see the point in going to the tower anymore. The reasons we were going to go seem to have slipped between our fingers, so...
You say that until we're in the middle of some kind of harrowing, wonderful encounter, of which we'll make a great song someday, and we're like, Torque, hit him with your big mace. And Torque says, actually, I'm not Torque. I seem to have misplaced my body somewhere. What's going on? And then we all get crushed.
Look, Torque has revealed over the last few weeks that he is much more in charge of his faculties than we previously thought. If he says that that Anfel is gone, I trust him.
Fair enough.
So, with no Anfel to be removed, with no weapons to be identified, which I can now do, I don't see much reason to continue the tower, to risk going through town. My only concern with leaving now...
I can do that.
I could do that. My only concern with leaving now is I don't know how the Vargos are going to feel about us taking this ship. They've got things locked down. They didn't see us enter the ship. I really don't feel like going to battle on the seas this morning. But...
Well, there's only one way out of Porto Darius, Captain. Respectfully.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, do you want me to go tell the guard we're leaving? Because I can do that.
If we need to leave, I can create a massive honkin' fog cloud to kind of just sweep up off the coast and disguise our... I mean, it's not going to be great, but it'll be better than seeing the ship leave.
But that, to me, is the same level of suspicion as if we were walking down at the bottom of that river.
Not necessarily.
I think more so.
A fog cloud rolling... Well, look, would you rather them see a strange fog cloud rolling in or watching the ship leave? At least by the time they're like, what's going on? That seems odd. We're already gone.
I actually like the idea of Flick going to talk to the guards, letting them know that we've just been hunkered down here while the battle was going on, and now that it's cleared, we're gonna peace.
I'm
right.
gonna turn around and survey. Like, are there other ships missing? Are there ships that are already out in the harbor? Like, are people leaving town already? Like, is this an unusual thing you're suggesting?
Did you give me your perception check yet? Or
yes, it was a 15.
Okay.
Well,
all right. So you do see, like, traffic is still, I wouldn't say per normal, but there are ships kind of coming and going. There is sort of a heavier inspection presence that seems to be on ships coming in, especially. And it's not so much that everything is locked down. It just seems that there's more of a visible guard presence. Whereas previously, it was kind of guards from all the different ships were kind of around, kind of keeping the peace. So as it were, the high ship has sort of stepped in to take that role on specifically. And you see Vargas got guards kind of all over the place. There's a lot of cleanup going on around the pier. Other than that, though, you do still see like people are still kind of walking kind of straight, like oddly looking around and stuff, but there's people going about what you can assume is their business. There is a ship that's currently leaving kind of at the far end of the pier. So
in that case, I will just get as close as I can. I'm not even going to leave the ship. I'm just going to yell to the closest guard and just go, yo, guard, we clear to cast off here?
One of them kind of turns and looks at you, and you can just kind of make out the hint of pointed elven ears underneath the cap as they look up at you. And you're on the Stormcaller. You with Boone?
See, I knew we should have changed the name.
It's a Boone ship, ain't it?
Boone ship, former employees. This was our exit package.
Who's your captain?
D? I'll just...
Is Dinar in sight of this guard?
And do you still have your disguise?
Well, is Dinar already in sight of this guard, or am I kind of in defilade from the side of the ship?
Are you on the deck still?
I don't imagine that Dinar has moved too far. Oh, right.
Ian.
Dinar was going down, so yeah, I guess I'm either below deck or going below deck.
Dude, kind of hear.
Torque is going to come over, stand behind. Ah, yes, this is the captain speaking.
Oh, jeez.
So I guess me and Dinar are still on the ship.
Uh-huh.
Captain who?
So Dinar, you see, Flick calls you D all the time.
Captain Ursa Major.
He calls you D all the time, and we're talking about ship names. I was thinking, how you like to glow like the sun, and you breathe sunfire? We could call the ship the Sunny D.
I'm going to ignore all that. Give me a deception check, please, Jack.
I mean, I am in disguise. Is that worth anything?
You're in disguise, but the disguise doesn't necessarily mean anything to them because they don't know who you are either way. So I'll it might alter the DC, but it won't give you advantage. We'll say that.
Okay.
11. There's some major. Stand fast and come aboard.
All right.
Is that entirely necessary? We've already explained ourselves. This ship was gifted to us by Ship Boone as a reward for our services in assisting with his commerce. And seeing as how things have gone this night, now that we are free of our contact, we don't wish to stay here any longer. And would rather not tarry.
I'm coming aboard.
All right. Hey, you're the boss of the dock here. We're just trying to leave peaceably.
And the elf kind of turns to the other one and just kind of, he says something that you can't see and begins kind of walking right over to the ship and
Well, if the
Probably
axiom
on board.
weapons,
in 10 minutes, then
if the axiom weapons aren't here, then we don't really have anything to hide. That being said, Torque will stay with the guards as they do their inspection, nonetheless, to see, because he wants to see what they're looking for, if that makes sense. Like
Okay.
he wants to see what they're inspecting.
Okay.
How much
So
of this
as-
conversation does Dinar overhear?
Depending on where you are, you probably hear most of it. You probably wouldn't hear everything the guard is saying. You kind of hear like, you'd hear what Torque is saying, and then you hear kind of like, kind of muffled response on the other
the
end.
Sunny D.
As the elf comes on board, you can see that his blonde hair is kind of tied really tight behind, and very intricate braid actually, and kind of tucked in behind his cloak behind him. And he steps on. He's got a very I don't want to say typical elven, but like got kind of like a haughty air to him, and he just steps on board.
Welcome aboard.
So you say that you have been gifted this, or loaned this ship by Ship Boone. What part did you play in the goings on here last night?
The part
Mostly
where
it
we
was-
In the goings on last night, we played no part. However,
Ducking and hiding.
Mhm.
yes, for the most part. I think
Exercising
that
a better part of valor.
due to all the chaos which occurred and due to Ship Boone's involvement, I think Aldous Boone thought it would be necessary to liquidate some assets, as it were.
You mean the deceased, High Captain Aldous Boone? Did he
Oh my
liquidate
God,
these
did he?
assets previous to his death or after?
My God, Aldous Boone is dead?
Deception check.
That's exactly the delivery too.
Uh-huh.
Oh
My God,
goodness.
he's dead.
Come on.
Big ol' 13.
He's slightly better.
Now that
I'm
I'm
kinda
on the
look-
ship, can I grant him advantage by using my bardic charisma?
In what way?
Can I? Is the guard
Clutches
looking?
pearls.
Is the guard looking at me?
If you're all there, he's kind of taking you all in and inspecting. He's kind of got that just on alert, suspicious
Can I
nature.
hand sign what I like charades, kind of like something better to say, and then when he looks like completely just like whistling, and then when he looks away, like go back to hand signs and charades to be like, this is what you do. Don't say this. That's
I thought you were going to clutch at the
more
pearls. just like-
emotion. More emotion.
Sure. I will
all right, I will re-roll.
just why not?
For the record, Dinar is below deck.
Look, I'm the only one making moves right now, guys.
It's true. Yeah.
Let's use the 13.
That's what I thought.
Orc
Yeah.
has no idea what I'm doing.
That's about as well as I kind of expected that to go, to be honest, or was thinking it should go. I just kind of, you can tell that there's still very, very suspicious and kind of looking at you like, who's your
May
high
I, interest,
captain now?
may I interest you in a drink, my fine sir?
Who's your high captain now?
Of Ship Boone.
Well,
Ooh.
for me.
Hi.
Well, now who ranked directly below him then? Was it... There was a Kuna.
Sword comes
her?
out a little bit. So
And
you're
there was-
Tuna's side, are you?
Well, we're not really on anyone's side. We're freelancers, and our contract is thus ended. And so we are seeking less choppy waters, as it were.
Do you have any papers to prove that the ship is under your command?
Why, certainly, yes. If you would join me in the captain's quarters, I would happily proffer those for you.
I think not.
All right. Okay. Everyone just stop. Okay. Listen, Mac. How much is it going to take for me to put in your pocket for you to step off that and let us cast off some ropes and just get the hell out of your hair?
Give me a persuasion check.
We'll throw in We throw in, and if that's not enough, I've got a flask full of very old 250-year-old whiskey.
Are we on the deck of the ship or below deck at the moment?
Yes.
You're on deck.
Okay.
You're on deck right now, yeah.
Can I provide him advantage by
persuasion.
proffering the flask of 250-year-old whiskey that I saved?
I say that would certainly sweeten the deal. So, yes. Oh, persuasive one.
All right, so that was a help.
Why is the
That's a
bard
help,
not
so
doing
yes.
persuasion?
Because Flick is the one who.
Hey, that works. That's fine. That's good.
much
Okay.
better.
20. Okay.
There goes that whiskey.
The elf
Yeah.
kind of looks between the two of you for a moment.
Eh? It's pretty
Always
good.
go for a good whiskey.
Ah, this
You know,
is
from-
the best stuff you'll ever have.
From what I recall, there were
I bet this is older than you.
precisely 30 deaths at the pier last night.
Dear God.
And
The humanity.
the guard just kind of stares at you, Flick, kind of like with an expectation
So I'm
of like
counting. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's 30 gold pieces. Just sort of. Here you go.
Right, your export fees then have been
We are
taken care
clear to cast off, Captain. Ursa Major.
of. Might I suggest something?
By all means,
Don't come back anytime soon.
not planning on it, pal.
Sword goes back in the sheath.
My
Don't
good
take
man,
this the wrong
I can
way, but I
guarantee
hope
that
we
you
never
will-
see you again.
My good man, I can guarantee you that you will never see our faces here again.
And Flick is immediately casting off ropes. He is prepping for launch.
Yeah.
Here, Flick, let
Hoist-
me help
hoist
you
anchor.
with that.
So
Hoist
as
up
you
the thing, batten down.
you watch
the
as the elf walks off the deck and kind of goes down to the pier, and you clearly see as he goes up to their guard and like pulls out the pouch and like kind of hefts it, whatever, and they're both like looking at it and like they start like splitting coins. It's a pirate port. Like yeah, it's pretty comes out now. It's like they're guards, but
That was some quick thinking on Flick's part. Torque was definitely just ready to just smash this guy.
I kind of saw that coming too. I was like, where's this gonna go?
Oh yes, I definitely have those papers. Why don't you follow me down into the cellar where I keep my Amontillado?
Would you mind turning out that light as you come down, please?
For the record, Captain, the next time we have to talk to pirates, perhaps it's best if the one who's actually, hung out with pirates does the talking.
Or the practiced liar. Maybe one of us could take the
Speak
lead
for
next
yourself. I am a pirate. Or ex-pirate.
Yes, I suppose we are pirates now, yeah. Wait, what?
None of your concern.
So I have a question for you then. Where are you going?
North.
What is your destination, crew of the yet to be determined vessel?
If I might make a humble request,
That could be a good name too. Just throw that out there.
Captain.
Captain Dinar will come up on deck now.
Seeing as we are currently without a course to chart, if I may make a humble request.
I could make one too.
Let's hear Torque first.
Flick, you ever get the feeling that they don't like me?
Prior to my marooning, the last place that I visited, the last civilization that I visited was an island not too far from here by the name of Ter. I
Tier.
wouldn't Tier by the name of Tier. I wouldn't exactly call this unfinished business per se. However, there are some things there are some people in the city which I would like to check up on. I know it's been the better part of a decade, but it would certainly give me some peace of mind to know one way or another the state of affairs there.
And Tyr is where?
Yeah, you say north?
It is north of the Ivory Spire.
Oh.
Sounds good to me.
So it is part of the chain of the Sunken Isles. You would recall it was marked on the map that you had on the Intrepid Devil.
Yeah, I think I remember where it was.
Here, I can.
Taylor, where were you going to
shift things
suggest?
here a bit.
Oh, there we go.
I don't know. I'm happy to go north.
So this is Tyr all the way up in the corner up here.
Sounds good to me. Well, of course he wants to go there. There's a place called the Mouth of Disfuna.
I suppose that would also be a worthwhile destination.
What is this? A pilgrimage?
Well,
Of sorts, yes. More like the potential tying of a loose end.
Well, if we're tying up loose ends, north it is.
so question: are we going to retrace steps and head back via the Ivory Port and the Ivory Spire? Or
Now let's go straight through the Sea of Souls.
No, we're not.
I was thinking if we go around the other way, we could swing back in.
But you can't take a joke, Captain.
Let Flick speak.
I was just thinking, when this little caper began, however many months ago, we started off in Easthold, and
He's told.
I at least have some contacts there if that is of use to us, or we could go see what's going on at Ivory Spire and see if those goofballs have been up to more shenanigans in our absence.
I mean, it's not a bad place to take a stop. I don't know if there's much else we can do there, but
We don't exactly have a time limit imposed on us for a change, so
fair
That's
enough.
true.
I mean, you said
I'm
it's for a
fine
decade,
with
right? What's a few more days?
exactly.
You know what? I think I've convinced myself that I want to see what they're up to at the Ivory Spire. Hey, we've even got barter now with the dragon scale, so maybe we can swing a deal with them.
That's a good bloody point.
Do we still have the dragon scale?
We haven't put that anywhere, have we?
I don't think we were required to bring that, just the Ataxian stuff.
Yep. So that should be still amongst our loot.
Would you like to do a thorough investigation?
Yeah,
of your hold?
let's double check all of that. Yeah. I think that's
As we're
a good
investigating,
idea.
we'll talk about where we're heading off
Okay.
to.
So I'll say if more than one of you are doing this, then investigation with advantage.
Yeah.
I'll
Who's-
let you figure out. who
We'll
wants to
get
do it.
we'll get Dinar to do that.
Yes.
Am I really the best at investigating?
Probably.
Yes, it is an intelligence
It's
skill.
intelligence based.
And you're the smarty pants.
I'm having a hard time making out the labels on.
Yes,
Okay,
this
so
one
Ivory
is this one
Spire.
is intentionally blurred. It's kind of a
Oh, I see. It's got sort of a fog of war on it.
Yeah.
I get you.
All right. Not amazing rolls. I rolled an 11 and a 7, so we're going to take the 11 and add my 4 investigation for a total of 15.
doing a thorough accounting of all your supplies and everything in the hold. You do still have the other treasure that you left
Treasure.
and had secured on deck or
Very good.
Undership. Yes.
Fantastic.
So, Torque wants to go up to Tyr. Flick wants to go to Easthold.
I mean,
Taylor.
eventually. I think my priority has, yes, we'll get to Easthold after Tyr, Ivory Spire, on the way to Tyr. I think is my preference.
All right, Tayland. Where do you want to go?
North.
Just north.
That's all I've got at the moment. I
Okay.
think.
Would this have anything to do with
Jorand
the-
was less helpful than I was kind of hoping.
Well, he kind of got blown up when we took a quick look, so yeah.
Does this have anything to do with the individual that we scryed on while in Jorn's tower?
I don't know. Does this business at Tyr have to do with an ex-pirate?
No.
Likewise.
Ain't it great being family?
Once more we sail.
We're just
with the
narrowing our eyes at each
gales
other.
through ice and sleet and rain.
Well,
Them coconut fronds, them tropical
Oak.
shores we soon shall see again.
You nut.
North works for me.
So yeah, well,
I'm not too jazzed about going back up the way that that black sludge ship intercepted us.
Yeah, no, I think we
But-
stick to the land, to kind of keep on the outskirts of the aforementioned Sea of Souls.
Yeah, but that ship came from the ocean on the other side.
So, do you want to then go around up like where Easthold is and then circle over to Tyr?
Let's draw a route on the map, shall we?
Well, yeah. Like, do we want to go humdy dumdy 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 dum, humdy dumdy dum, humdy dumdy dumdy dum, or do we want to go humdy dumdy 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 dum, dumdy 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 dum?
I mean, Torque would be a fan of going around the right side.
If you want to
but
zoom
that
out
might...
Or as usual,
on stream there so you see the roots.
I'm gonna opt not for the red line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's why it's red.
I think that going around hugging the eastern side is what Torque would prefer, but that also might be a little bit selfish because his business, would be first in that case.
I'm not too concerned about whose business is first. My biggest concern is that we scuttle this ship too.
Well, let's keep her fast, and yeah, we'll just put down anything that comes our way. We're bigger, we're stronger.
Well,
Like the big damn heroes that we are.
We're smaller.
We're personally stronger, and the ship is smaller and faster. So I think we got a couple of advantages there.
All right. I'm gonna say for now, let's skirt the right side of the island. We'll head up, and
You mean the east side?
the eastern side, yes,
Eastern.
Eastern.
And rather than cutting in front of the isle and making our way to the ivory spire, let's just go straight to Tyr. We should be able to see the ivory spire from the water as we're passing. See if there's anything weird going on, but
And we can,
All right.
Going this route, we can make stops along the way for provisions or anything else of the like if necessary.
it's true.
We do need to make sure we have an ample supply of booze. I just gave away some of that.
Yeah. How is our stock looking right now? It's not like we can restock here in the port.
That's a good point. Having done the inspection, like what are we doing in terms of rations and things like that?
You have 3 weeks worth of rations.
And based on our previous journeys and sea knowledge, what kind of a journey are we looking at on the purple line, which is going the south or the northeastern way, kind of around the Sea of Souls?
Captain, I'm gonna get you to call it a navigation check. It's basically you using your navigator's tools.
Okay.
I should see here.
So just proficiency?
Yeah, you have your navigator's tools. I think what we say was intelligence, and then
Intelligence and
dexterity?
proficiency?
I think it was like yeah.
Okay. So, proficiency is 3, intelligence is 4. This is 7. Plus 7, or 17. Plus 7 for 24.
You're looking at the purple route.
Yeah.
skirting east all the way around there. You quickly realize that without kind of stopping for resupply and going outside of sort of normal shipping routes, it's probably going to take you longer than 3 weeks. You won't have full rations to get there. You'd have to stop along the way, or you'd have to basically go light on rations.
In terms of 3 weeks, would we be up at the next sort of civilization markers by then?
Like the Ivory Spire?
3 weeks. You could get to Morn, which is the south end.
Sounds like a nice place.
Where Ivory Spire is, or the Ivory Port, probably in about 2.5 weeks.
Okay, so we might be stopping there after all.
Yeah. Looks like we're gonna have to stop at the Ivory Port. Check in with some contacts, see what's up at the Spire. See what maybe we can get some idea of what's come of all that iron.
And as Flick has said, we can make some money off of some dragon scales, or potentially learn about some more information using it as leverage. I, for one, would very much like to make sure that those mages are not doing anything untoward.
Yeah, this thing opens doors that we didn't have access to before. That's all I'm saying.
That's a good point.
As long as we always go ever north. And actually, sorry, Craig. World map wise, Sea of Souls, below the equator.
There is no equator.
You know what I mean?
It's a flat world.
Yeah, I understand it's a flat world. Is it in the northern or the southern part of the disc?
It's not a disc either. It's more of a scroll flattened out, but it's more.
Is north even a thing?
Yeah, north is a thing.
It's kind of like a rectangle. It's like a sheet. It's like a sheet cake.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's more in the northern hemisphere.
How do you clarify sides of a cake? Is that what we should be using?
One side says happy and one side says birthday.
Is it in the happy? Is it in the happier? Is it close to the happy?
It's in the happy. Yeah,
it's
in the happy.
Okay.
Range.
So the Ivory Spire. Okay, like how far north would we have to go to hit like, northerly gales full of ice and sleet and rain?
Pretty much where it says northern depths, a few leagues beyond that. That's kind of the edge of the Broken Isles, and then once you get past that, you're into barbarian.
Yeah, Vikings and stuff.
Territory.
Sounds good. I have a few things I can do with the Ivory Spire then. So yes, sounds like a plan.
We have a plan.
For just one time, I would take the Northeast Passage.
So we're kind of talking like that line there.
Yeah, I think that's about what we'll be doing. Yeah, we'll be kind of going around the edge as best we can, and then making our way inland as we.
Okay.
For anybody watching the stream, I'm putting up a picture of Eudora right now, and we are on the left side in those more Caribbean-looking areas.
Indeed. Yeah. So see, it's flat. It's nice and flat.
Nice and flat.
But not flat, like. Okay. So our world is not flat. It is round. It's a sphere. But Eudora is flat.
Technically, it's an oblong spheroid.
Technically, whatever. Anyway. So yeah, where you see those
flat,
light.
There's no COVID. It's a conspiracy nut stream come true.
Totally, right? Amazing.
Mike, you're supposed to disconnect him when he starts talking about that.
I don't have that power.
Anyway, so given that route, then within 2 and 3 weeks journey? Within 2 and 3 weeks, give or take, weather, etc., giant tentacle monsters, waves, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, yeah, I have noticed we're going around that way.
Assuming smooth sailing, about 2 or 3 weeks.
Jack, we should not make that assumption.
I mean, it gives us a good baseline, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's not going to be smooth sailing.
It lets us know. Okay, I work in the film industry, and it's good to have like an expectation, not because you expect to finish by that time, but more just to know how far behind schedule you are.
It sets your baseline. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's not about finishing on time. It's about finishing as
Not-
close to the deadline as possible.
All right. So with your path laid out before you, a temporary goal of making dock at the Ivory Port and perhaps gaining some provisions, doing some trading, finding out some information, and continuing on from there. That is where we will end tonight's session and pick up as you make your way out to sea aboard the insert name here.
Sunny D.
Oh,
We have a winner.
has
It
the
is
captain
Sunny D.
spoken? I'm gonna say though, man, like in chat, there are some pretty good names in there, some pretty choice nicknames for this ship that
Chat has been lively tonight, giving us stuff. So yes,
somebody should write down like all of those, and they can be like the names that kind of come in. It's like the ship has one name and like 25 nicknames. You know, that's usually how it works. So that's how things go. So apparently aboard the Sunny D, as you head
Can we
out.
spell it like DEE? Because I think that would be funny.
No, it's just short for the instead of calling it the Radiant Dawn, was just like that's so pretentious. It was called the Sunny D.
Fair enough.
now it sounds
Sunny D with like an
unpretentious.
apostrophe, right? Like D.
Yeah.
I take
Yeah.
I take it back. I haven't settled yet.
Okay. All right. So
I think we
as
should
you
just go Sunny D.
as you sail northward aboard the haven't settled yet, we will pick it up there next time. Thank you everyone for joining in. Thanks chat for entertaining us and joining along in the fun. And if you haven't yet followed, please do. And hey, tell other people you know. Say, hey, come hang out with us. Follow and do the likes and the following and the Twitters and the Podbeans and all those other things, you know. But thanks for hanging out with us as we nerd out and debate ship names. Use it for time. 2 weeks from now, to give you a heads up, for those of you watching live, we are going to be doing a Halloween one-shot. DM'd by our very own Devin.
Hey.
You will beware, you're in for a scare.
So make sure that you stay tuned for that. It's going to be awesome.
Prepare yourselves, boils and ghouls.
We'll be back next week with
I really hope
some
you do
Sea
that
of
voice the
Souls
whole time.
action. Yeah, you got to do the whole thing. You have to DM with that voice now.
I
Like,
gotta come up full Crypt Keeper makeup and everything. Just
come out of a coffin or something, you know, something elaborate. You're setting our expectations high. Anything less is just going to disappoint us now. Aw.
No,
He's
go.
only got fake blood, not real blood. Come on. Come
As long
in.
as long as you stick with Crypt Keeper and don't go Elvira instead, then I'll be happy.
Yeah, no kidding, Abe. All right.
I don't think he
Thanks,
Vincent
everyone.
Van Gogh.
Stay safe. Happy gaming. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us, guys. It means a lot. Thank you.
Goodbye.
the record, I do look great in a dress.
Oh, I don't want to leave on that thought.